It's time now for Carter's Corner. Everything Bay Area sports on the Northern California Sports and Entertainment Network. Here is your host, Carter Kim.
Hello there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, everybody. It's good to have you back. Welcome back to the show. I am Carter. This is Carter's Corner. Well, on to Cincinnati. That's all I have to say about baseball right now, especially the Giants. But I'm here for the people. I'm here to listen to what you have to say. Whatever you have to say, I'll talk about. We'll talk about San Francisco Giants. We'll talk about the Warriors. We'll talk about the Niners. We'll talk about the A's and the Kings. I can't really talk about the Sharks because I'm not that good at hockey, but we'll see how that goes. But let's first talk about the San Francisco Giants being officially eliminated from the playoffs. We all knew it was coming. We all knew it was happening. After the Braves series a couple months ago, we all knew that it was going to happen. Let's just keep it real. There's no way this team was really going to go that far. After the anchor that is Farhan kept us down at the trade deadline. I mean, we are really just trying to make it through the day, trying to play. But there is something good to preview. We will be previewing the series between the Kansas City Royals and the San Francisco Giants, a rematch of the 2014 World Series where we beat them in 7 games. Those were the days, weren't they? But right now, Kansas City's about to go to the playoffs and we're not. So that tells you something right there about the current state of those two organizations. Well, I actually think we should just bring up the lineup. Let's bring up the lineup and let's talk about who's going to be playing today because why not? Okay, so today, San Francisco Giants will play the Kansas City Royals. In leadoff, we have Mike Yastrzemski. Batting second, we have Mark Canha. Michael Conforto's batting. Yep, nope, that's just same old Giants, isn't it? Okay. No, we might as well not even look at the lineup because at this point, we know what to expect from this organization. This is who we are. This is who we've always been. And honestly, I'm not that impressed. I mean, we have Mark Canha batting second, even though the guy has not been productive in all of the time that he's been here in San Francisco. He's terrible. Let's just keep it real. He's terrible. He's not that good. I don't even know what to say. I honestly don't know what to say. Like, we really could have been a good team in a lot of ways. I thought at the start of the season with Jung-Hoo Lee leading off, there was some excitement. Once we got Blake Snell, there was some excitement. Then we started having expectations, and then that's when we start to suck because we really Farhan Zaidi is a fraud and a carnival huckster who tricked us all into believing that, or no, he didn't trick us. He tricked ownership into believing that he knew what he was doing. And he doesn't. He clearly has shown that he doesn't know what he's doing, and now we are going to be inevitably screwed later because he still thinks he knows what he's doing. I don't know why we were trying to play to win down the stretch. We weren't going to be able to do anything. It was meaningless games that we were playing. We weren't going to beat the Orioles and sweep them, and there's no way we were going to win out the rest of the season and make it to the wild card. That's just not possible. This team can do that? No, it can't. Farhan Zaidi is truly one of the most delusional and egotistical people on the planet. He doesn't seem to understand that baseball requires nuance, that baseball requires you to be smart and understand what is going on. And honestly, just know, man. Just know. I don't trust this team at all. It's such a comedy show of what we are doing right now. We are a terrible team. I'm just keeping it real. We are a terrible team because it's not just about like the win-loss record. It's about structure and organizational competence. And with a guy like Farhan Zaidi leading the way, we will be worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And honestly, anybody who talks about this team being even mildly competitive with the pitching staff, that was some of the most ridiculous BS that I've ever heard. I mean, why the hell didn't we do something at the deadline? Because we did what we've done for the past 3 years, and what did it do? in the last 3 years of this organization's operations, we have always held serve at the deadline. We've held serve. We didn't care. And if Farhan Zaidi does not get fired at this year's trade deadline, then we are going to suffer. If we do not fire him this upcoming offseason, if we don't fire him, we are going to be screwed. We're not going to get free agents, that's for sure. Because if he doesn't get fired, we won't be able to get Juan Soto. We won't be able to get Willy Adames. We won't be able to get any of the free agents and marquee guys that we've been trying to look for. We won't be able to be seen as a team that's serious. Because as long as Farhan Zaidi is the GM for this team and the president of baseball operations, then we will never be seen as competitive. And why the heck would any free agent that's serious about trying to further their career and win things that can get their families money and make sure that they're good, why would they come here to an organization that's ran by such an absolute idiot? Yeah, no, just no, honestly. I honestly don't even know. I've honestly become so apathetic at this point. I really don't even know what to say because we have all of our best players further down the lineup. And guess who's not playing today? Tyler Fitzgerald's not playing today, even though he's been playing very well. He had a 2-hit game yesterday and actually managed to get in. He plays well in these situations. He's a great player. And we have him platooning with Brett Wisely and Casey fucking Schmidt. Oh my gosh, I shouldn't have said that. But yeah. Oh my gosh, this is a comedy show of an organization. We are being mocked by baseball because they know that they can make fun of us. The Dodgers are currently about to make the playoffs. The Arizona Diamondbacks and the Padres are about to make the playoffs. This team was supposed to be serious, mind you. This team was supposed to try and get things to fall their way and actually try and make the playoffs this year. Did it do that? Absolutely not. This team is not good enough. Bottom line, it's not good enough. Everything I've seen from this team and its abilities, it has not been good enough to produce stable winning and the ability to do things that are related to baseball that result in championships. And it's all because we're being anchored. We are being held down by the anchor that is Farhan Zaidi. We have kept a guy like him in this organization for so long, despite the fact that he has been horrible and you cannot trust him with anything. And it's very clear to me that if he stays next year, then we are going to be in even greater trouble because we're going to spend money in the offseason. Again, because this team is not poor. We're going to try and spend money on free agents, and it's going to be a bad amount of money on those free agents. And Farhan Zaidi is going to lock us into bad contracts, and once he gets fired, we are not going to be ready for a rebuild. If we do rebuild, I don't want to rebuild. I don't want this team to be in horrible mediocrity. But then a lot of these good players are probably going to have to go because they need to be on, because we would have to rebuild. I mean, again, this is just spitballing, obviously, but I really am a believer that if Farhan Zaidi is continuously the president of baseball operations for this team, we will not be able to continue to create something new. We cannot do so. What he has done is sign a bunch of old free agents and make marginal, idiotic moves that have done nothing for the organization's baseball. Nothing. Like, what has he done? What is the most notable move he has had over the past few years? What is the most impressive thing that he's done that is able to make this team great? Carlos Correa, Arson Judge, Bryce Hart. No, that wasn't part of him. But Shohei Ohtani almost got those guys. He almost got those guys. So, yeah, that shows how great he is when he almost got people. That's nothing, man. He has shown me no reason to believe in him. Nothing that he says or does shows me that he should be believed in as a GM. The reason why he was seen as a good guy for baseball operations in his career is purely because he was working with Andrew Friedman in Los Angeles and piggybacked him the entire time. He rode Friedman's coattails to a better job. He's failing upwards. He's not actually good at his job. If he was, then we would actually be winning right now. But we're not. He's not hired competent management. He hasn't signed the right free agents. Hell, he has Michael Conforto and Mark Canha penciled into the lineup like Josh Donaldson and IKF in New York. I mean, Christ almighty. Are you really going to say, Mr. Zaidi, that this is the way of baseball that the Giants should be pursuing? Your idiotic schemes and putting about a bunch of old bums Where the heck is Luis Matos? Luciano's playing in this 9 hole, yeah, but he should have been playing there a long time ago. Where the heck is a young first baseman? Oh, yeah, he's developing. Maybe that's why they give him so much time, because Bryce Eldridge is good and he seems to be ready in the next maybe year. The outfield of Jung-Hoo Lee and Ramos. Ramos seems to be left out of the lineup once in a while, more often than he should be. He should be playing every single day and being pushed to do everything, honestly, because Elliot Ramos is much better than a lot of people thought he would be. I mean, Christ almighty. Like, what has Farhan Zaidi done that actually makes him a good GM for this organization? But anyway, honestly, it's on to Cincinnati at this point. There's no point in quibbling over this. There's honestly no way, because at the end of the day, I can't talk about signing free agents. I can't talk about these things because as long as Farhan Zaidi is there, there will be a problem with that. It's on to Cincinnati. I can't talk about Juan Soto. I can't talk about Willy Adames. Yes, I have talked about them. But honestly, until Farhan Zaidi is officially fired from this organization, there's no reason to. Because I know it's never going to happen. I mean, look around you. Terribly sorry. Just until there is systemic change in the organization to actually make it better than it is right now, then we will be stuck in the mediocrity of the current state of the Giants. We won't be able to say we're competitive. We can't say that we're going to be able to do something interesting in free agency, because the truth is, until we get rid of Farhan Zaidi, I can't talk about Juan Soto. I can't talk about Willy Adames. I can't talk about Corbin Burns or Blake Snell. I can't talk about any of these people. I can't talk about the notion of us competing for a World Series or even pushing a wild card. I can't talk about the division. There's no way I can do that. I am going to do that because it's my job, and I want you guys, if that's what you guys want me to do, I will do that. But it feels pointless sometimes, even though I have fun with it, because when you think about this organization and how it's operating, it's not going to do well when Farhan Zaidi is doing this, because when he negotiates with people like Shohei Ohtani, he offers them a couple million more to come to San Francisco. That's what the negotiations were like between him and Shohei Ohtani. He was like, you know what? We're going to give you $710 million instead of $700 million. You add $750 million for a guy like Shohei Ohtani. You say, you know what? You're worth it. I'm going to pay you more. When you're paying Carlos Correa and he has an issue with his physical, okay, that's fine. Sports medicine has put itself so far that it can be fixed. Whatever is wrong with Carlos Correa, it can be fixed. Look around you. We missed out on guys like Yamamoto, for example, too. He could have been a Giant. We could have provided an interesting ballpark for him to pitch in. I mean, look at the pitchers ERA when they come here to San Francisco. It's easy to pitch here in a lot of ways. There are a few hitters that are really good here, but not a lot of hitters are. I mean, it feels hopeless to be a fan of this team sometimes, because until the day Farhan Zaidi is fired and we have some excitement in the front office, this team will be mired in mediocrity and it will continue to suck. And we will start becoming the Orioles. We will become the Orioles, and we will slowly but surely get to a point where we're so mediocre and we're tipping on the knife's edge of a tank. And then when we finally decide, you know what, it's time to blow it up and we can't do this anymore, then it'll be too late. I don't know if this is going to happen, because I don't think it will, because I'm hoping that Farhan Zaidi is actually fired. And if that happens, maybe that won't be the case. But I'm delivering doom and gloom for this community and the people who love the Giants. We aren't in the days in which everything is changing anymore. Until Farhan Zaidi is gone from baseball entirely and is never allowed to be a GM for the San Francisco Giants, we will continue the Baltimore Orioles route, where we have a couple good years, or maybe even some really bad years or some mediocre years, until at some point we will the door will slam shut on a window that we have, and we will be terrible again. Our window, we haven't opened a window yet. If I'm being honest, we haven't opened a window. And if we try to continue to compete, we will have a very small window. The truth is, the way you build a championship team, something that Farhan Zaidi knows very little about, you do it by finding out when you have your core. Look at the core of players right now. Jung-Hoo Lee, Tyler Fitzgerald, Elliot Ramos, Patrick Bailey, Logan Webb, along with a solid rotation of bullpen arms. Some good players, yeah. Bryce Eldridge is also about to come up soon. Not to mention guys that could possibly be signed in free agency. Eric talks constantly about this. But until you can realize what your core is, we're not going to be able to compete. And we don't have a core fully assembled. And we don't have an identity for that core. What are we? What are the San Francisco Giants, really? What tells you that this is going to be a good team? Yeah, Tyler Fitzgerald played super well with his chances. He was tearing the cover off the ball. Elliot Ramos became an all-star this year. So did Logan Webb. Not to mention a lot of the younger guys showing promise. Bryce Eldridge is going to be up in the next 2 years. Opportunity is rising for this team. You just have to decide, as a front office for the San Francisco Giants, when is our window open? If this offseason we make a massive splash and go after Juan Soto, and if we get him, our window is open. And it's all up to the San Francisco Giants at the end of the day. Do you want this team to win a World Series? Because with the core, you can see potential. You can see these sparks, and it's amazing. The problem is, until that window is opened, we are going to be mired in mediocrity. And when we will get to a point where we can start winning again is when Farhan Zaidi is no longer allowed to be the GM of this team and Buster takes over. And if he is going to take over in a big way, then I'm eternally thankful to him. Not just as a player that he was for us as a catcher, but as a guy who's going to be leading this organization. But until then, until the GM, our current GM, Pete Patilla, realizes that Farhan Zaidi needs to be fired, until that happens, we will be systemically stuck in neutral. We could fall way backwards into mediocrity and slowly but surely get destroyed and be left in a pile of desolation. Or we can move forward. We could get rid of Farhan Zaidi and say, you know what, let's be aggressive. Let's go try and get you-know-who. Let's go see if we can go get some good starting pitching. Let's develop Bryce Eldridge into a superstar. But until Farhan Zaidi is fired, none of that will happen. And we will be eternally stuck. So, let's do it. Let's do something. Because honestly, I'm tired. I'm tired of being a fan of this team sometimes. Because honestly, if I wanted to cheer for excited baseball right now, I'd probably be looking at the Kansas City Royals. Because they play exciting baseball right now. I like their baseball. I love their young stars, Vinny Pasquantino, and guys like Bobby Witt Jr. They have a kid who is looking like the next Shohei Ohtani down in AAA. I don't know if he's going to be that, but there's potential. When you look at Kansas City, you say, there's potential. When you look at the San Francisco Giants, you see nothing but mediocrity on paper. You see a couple good stars and a bunch of damn nobodies, veterans that are way past their prime. If this was Michael Conforto in New York in a Mets uniform, I might be talking differently. But he's not that person anymore. He is proficient only in whiffing. Mark Canha can't make contact and can't get the ball in play. He's terrible in that way. Mike Yastrzemski, Mike, thank you for the organization, for the time you've given to this organization. We appreciate it. But what do I say to you, man? What do I say to Mike Yastrzemski? That you're a good soldier and you've given us time, good job, without giving us any opportunity to win? What do I say to that? good job, participation trophy, all that. Baseball isn't a participation trophy sport. It's not just about that. It's about trying to win the big one. That's the whole point of coming to the show. But I'm just hoping that this team does not stay idly by this offseason and seem content to just be mediocre, because this team can be good. It can be better than it is right now. And I want to see that every single day I watch this team. I think that can be happening. Will it happen, though? It all depends on how everything goes. But ooh, sorry. But yeah. But tonight we'll face one of the guys we're going to face tonight. Actually, is going to be Michael Wacha, who has been really good this year. I like that guy a lot. I think he's going to be he's continuing to be a really good player. He's 34, I think, 36, something like that. He's an older guy. Yeah, he's 33, but he is really good. I think that we're going to have a tough time with him as a matchup, but we're not going to do that well. And I think when we play Seth Lugo, it's going to be really difficult because this team, sometimes I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about this team sometimes, because all I'm thinking about is that why should I watch the games when I have an idea of what's going to happen already, or I sort of know what's going to happen? Why should I believe in this team? Why should I believe in Bob Melvin when he's shown no ability as a manager? Because I really hope from what I hear about Bob Melvin from A's fans that I know and people that I know, he's a good manager. From what I hear, he's a good manager. I really hope that this is just Farhan Zaidi meddling in ways that are insane. I'm hoping that that's the case, because if it's not the case, then we are in trouble. We need to fire him, and we need to fire Farhan Zaidi. All of these guys who have been responsible for this organization's incompetence cannot be employed. I mean, there's nothing that they've done that proves to me that there's potential. I mean, you can give AJ Preller, the GM of the San Diego Padres, crap, and you can give him criticism for a lot of the mistakes he's made in the previous time he's been the GM of the Padres, but he makes good moves. Luis Arraez, that was a great move. Signing Jerickson Profar, that was a good move. It actually ended up working out, and he fulfilled his potential. Getting Manny Machado, getting Fernando Tatis signed long-term, getting guys like Dylan Cease, Yu Darvish, and a bunch of other good players signed long-term. That's what a good GM does. He makes decisions, even if he might regret them, he makes decisions that could change the fabric of the organization for the better or for worse. What Farhan Zaidi does, he doesn't do anything. He's done nothing that convinces me that he should be trusted to be the GM of this organization. He's done nothing to convince me that I should trust him to be better than what he is right now. But for that reason, he needs to be fired this offseason. If he is continuously employed by this team despite his failure as a human being to run baseball operations, then he should not be here. Bottom line, he should not be here. There's no reason for Farhan Zaidi to be continuously involved in baseball operations. He is a terrible GM and a terrible guy who should be running it. He has meddled with lineups. He's failed in every sense of the word, and his parents should be ashamed of him. His whole family should be ashamed of how he is. He's terrible at what he does. Why should I trust Farhan Zaidi? Why should I trust him to scrub my damn car? Really, he's not worthy of scrubbing a damn car at a car wash. I mean that when I say that. What reason should I believe he should do anything? Or is he just going to slowly scrub at all the spots on my car? Or is he going to pour water on the car and get some soap on there? Point being, he should not be employed anywhere after this horrible job performance he's shown. I mean, Jesus. There are literal people on the internet who could probably run this team better than he is. Fantasy baseball owners could probably run this team better than he is. But we give him credit when things go right. Scott Boras gives him credit when he's lollygagged on a contract and he's finally gotten it right. And then Buster Posey saves his ass. I mean, again, I'm just preaching to the choir. Because at the end of the day, if I keep banging my head into the wall about this team, we will continuously fail. There's no reason I should honestly talk about this team. Because there's nothing exciting. There's no reason to. I'd honestly rather talk about the MLB playoffs. I'd rather talk about the fact that Philly is about to clinch their division. I'd rather talk about how the Braves might be in trouble right now. I'd rather talk about how the Mets and the Diamondbacks have an interesting postseason ahead of them. I'd rather talk about all these things. I would rather talk about good baseball. I mean, what reason there's there to talk about the San Francisco Giants? There's nothing exciting about this team. There's no culture. There's no identity. There's no reason for this team to be seen as, I don't know, competitive or somewhat interesting. I mean, why would anybody, seriously, a casual fan, pick this team? We should be a team that casual fans want to root for. A bunch of bandwagon people pick the Dodgers. A bunch of bandwagon people pick the Yankees. A bunch of bandwagon people pick teams like the freaking, I don't know, the Orioles even. A bunch of bandwagon people took teams like the Atlanta Braves. A bunch of bandwagon people want to root for the Padres. Why can't that be us? Because we don't have an identity that makes us an exciting team. I mean, why the hell would you want to root for us? There's no reason to. I mean, look around you. Look at the chaos that Farhan Zaidi has left. He is truly the Dave fucking... I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. He is truly the Dave Gettleman of the San Francisco Giants. Real ones will get that reference. He has shown clearly how bad he is at this. I mean, Jesus. Why for any reason would any casual fan root for us? A lot of casual fans liked us back during those 2010 seasons in the even years when we were winning a lot. A lot of those people were like, you know what? I think I should root for the Giants. I think they're really good, this team. And I really think I want to root for – they wanted to root for Bruce Bochy. They wanted to root for Buster Posey. They wanted to root for guys like the Panda. There's just no identity to the San Francisco Giants. There's no reason for this team to believe in for anybody to believe in us. Honestly, I'm just preaching at the choir and I'm banging my head against the wall. But yeah. Because tonight I just want to read this lineup and explain how pitiful we are. Mike Yastrzemski is batting leadoff. Michael Conforto is batting third. Mark Canha is batting sixth. Elliot Ramos is batting fourth, which is good. Patrick Bailey is batting fifth. He's been doing better. Grant McCray is batting sixth. He's been doing better. Casey Schmidt, Brett Wisely, and Marco Luciano make up the infield. Explain to me how this organization fell so far. Explain to me why we have become such a bad team, why we have become content with the mediocrity of our baseball team. Because this team could be better. There are quite literally so many fans in this current community who have said, I'm not going to go to a Giants game until Farhan Zaidi is fired. I'm not going to go to a game until this team's competitive. And that's not because they don't like this team. It's because they're so apathetic and sad about the state of affairs. This team could be good. I mean, let's just look at the core of players we see. Jung-Hoo Lee, Tyler Fitzgerald, Elliot Ramos, Patrick Bailey, along with guys like bigger examples might be Logan Webb. Along with that, there could be the possibility of free agents coming here. Again, we don't know if that's going to happen until Farhan Zaidi's fired. But what I'm trying to say is that this team could be something. It's just being held back. And it could be better than what it is right now. I mean, just know, man. Just know. Like, my point is, this team could have been something, and it's being held back. I see this team being a giant maybe in a few years. This team could have been something special. There are no longer any Oakland A's fans because the Oakland A's don't exist anymore. There's a lot of people that could support the San Francisco Giants. I mean, look around you. Like Glenn talked about this. The WNBA, there's a bunch of other organizations coming to the Bay Area that are interested in entertaining fans. You know why? Because Peter Gruber and Joe Lacob are serious about making their team interesting. Listen, the Warriors right now are in the twilight of the dynasty. They're winding it down and getting ready to say goodbye to these incredible players. Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, guys like Kevon Looney, guys like Kevin Durant. We've seen greatness, and it's about to be gone. But the difference is they're still trying. They're still trying to give us a reason to stay. And what? There's no reason for that. But there's no reason for us to come to the Giants. I mean, why should any person really care? Honestly, I would be interested more if we had just seen, like, if we had no expectations this season, and if I had seen this team try and play into trying to create a core. And that could be interesting. But until this team has been relieved of its anchor that is Farhan Zaidi, we will continue to struggle. We will flop. We will fail. We will make mistakes because that's San Francisco Giants baseball. But I want everybody to imagine a moment for me, and that is thinking about like years ago when this team was in its dynasty years, when we were thinking about World Series, when we were thinking about Bruce and Buster leading us to the promised land again. We took a bunch of ragtag misfits and people that were overlooked and seen as like whatevers, and we looked to like titans instead. We played with the best. We knocked off the best. We made it look easy. The Reds, the Cardinals, the Royals, the Tigers, the Rangers, teams that were seen as marginally, like heavily better than us. We beat them because we always believed in ourselves. We had a culture of grit and trying to come back. We had a belief that we were the underdog. And that's all gone. Fans aren't interested anymore. People in this community are apathetic, and I don't blame them. But you know what? Let's talk about something more exciting, because coming up this week, the San Francisco 49ers play the Rams, which we own. I mean, That's going to be interesting because Talanoa Hufanga is going to be coming back, which is going to be awesome. I love Talanoa Hufanga. I think he's got a great attitude and he's got a great way of playing football. I think it's going to be nice to have him back. The problem is we are injured. Deebo Samuel's out. Christian McCaffrey's out. George Kittle could be out, along with a dozen or so other players. It's going to have to be Brock Purdy and Brandon Ayuk trying to carry the load. Jawan Jennings is also a little questionable. Thankfully, it doesn't matter. Listen, I said this at the beginning of the season with the San Francisco 49ers. Sorry. It's about making the postseason. It's about getting to January and trying to fight for the big one. Because at the end of the day, the 49ers are the top class of the NFC, and you have to take the crown from us. You have to take it off our head and say, we're the leaders now. And we can just make it back. If we can make it back, because I said this, we can have a 16-0 season, a 17-0 season, and win it all, and win every single game in the regular season. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, none of this matters until we win the big one. The 49ers, we are an incredible team, and I think this team can knock off the best in the world. I mean, this team, it's full of incredible personalities and great players. It's just about trying to figure out those moments that we can win. And we can do that because I've seen us do it before. Versus Green Bay, versus the Lions. Last year, we came back twice. We were this close to taking it. And it disappeared. We can do it. I am a firm believer that the San Francisco 49ers are a team that can definitely win, if not win it all. It's just about finding out. It's just about trying to get through this regular season. Thankfully, we're playing the team that we owned for the last 10 years on this, that we owned for the last 10 years. And I believe in us to do that again. I mean, what else is there to do? Because we are really, the San Francisco 49ers are also in their last window. I mean, this is the last year before we pay Brock Purdy. And in my opinion, as a 49ers fan, if we don't do it this year, it will be a sickening rumination of what could have been. This team could have been the best ever. And I don't want to go down and lose it all because we're too good for that. We are too good as a team to just lose it because I think we can do it. I believe in Kyle Shanahan. I believe in Trent Williams. I believe in CMC. I believe in Deebo Samuel. I believe in these guys. I believe in Brock Purdy most of all. Not a lot of people do, but I do. San Francisco 49ers fans know. Athletes know what that dude is. And we can do it. It's just about trying to get our head in the game and get tight down the stretch because we can do this. But it's all about trying to do it. It's all about trying to figure it out. I mean, let's see how this goes. I say that every episode, but let's see how this goes. I mean, if anyone has anything to talk about, I kind of talk myself to death right now. If anybody has anything to talk about, I might start bringing up stats and funny information that could be interesting. You know what? I want to talk about what's going on around the league because why not? Honestly, around the MLB in particular. Let's just talk about that. Why not? Because I have my award winners for this season. I have Carter's award winners for this season. These are guys who I think deserve to win Cy Young. the MVP, and everything else. I mean, let's just talk about these guys because these guys are really good players, and I think they deserve a lot of credit for how well they played this season. Okay, first things first. Let's talk about rookies because rookies this year have been world class. For NL Rookie of the Year, he is a part of a division rival, but he has been incredible this year. Jackson Merrill has been nothing less than exemplary of what a baseball player should be. He can make contact. He can hit home runs. He's got great defensive skill in the center field position. He has been clutch. He's been great for the Padres, and he has shown, in my opinion, why he is the future of the MLB with guys like Bobby Witt Jr. and Gunnar Henderson. He's great, and I think that he shows promise and has a bright future in the MLB, and I can't wait to see what he can do. I mean, let's just talk about why I think he is, though, for the MLB. Paul Skeens has been unbelievably dominant this year. I like him a lot. I think he's one of the best in the world. And he succeeded in a horrible situation in Pittsburgh. And I think what makes Jackson Merrill win the Rookie of the Year is simple. He plays every day. He makes great plays with his glove and his bat. His stats for a rookie are really damn good. He's already a superstar, and he's 21 years old. They both are going to become superstars, Skeens and Merrill. But who's been making a greater impact on their team? Paul Skeens can't play every day. He can only do so much to affect his team's outcome of winning. Jackson Merrill has been so integral for the Padres making a push for the playoffs. Without him, they would not be succeeding the way that they are. And because of that, Merrill and his ability to help a team succeed because he plays every day and has been playing incredibly well is why I think he should win Rookie of the Year in the NL. That's what I think. But hey, you guys give your opinion too. For AL Rookie of the Year, I am a believer in Colton Cowser. He is a great player, that kid. I like that guy a lot. I think he's really good, and I think that the Orioles are only better because of him. A lot of people said Luis Gil and Austin Wells, but I also think Colton Cowser has been super good this year because he's been a great guy who can lead off. He's had great speed on the base paths. He's hit for power. He's been a great defensive guy in left field. I mean, he's sort of similar to Jackson Merrill. Not as good as Merrill, but he's been pretty damn good, and I really like him. He would be my pick for AL Rookie of the Year. For AL Cy Young, I don't think this is controversial at all. Tarek Scooby-Dooby-Doo has been absolutely incredible. He has been dominating. He's leading the MLB. He's not leading the MLB, but he's top 5 in strikeouts, top 5 in WHIP. Or I think he's number 1 in WHIP, actually. He's top 2 in ERA. He's tied for number 1 in wins, which doesn't mean much nowadays, but still, that's pretty damn impressive. And I think that is him showing why he should be there. If the Tigers also make the playoffs, which is very possible because the Twins are backsliding right now, he can win it. I genuinely believe that he can win it, and I think that he has been world-class this year. He's been better than Lugo and Burns, in my opinion. And I think because of that, he deserves to win the AL Cy Young. He has been world-class this year, and I think that he should do it. He should win it. But then, for the MVPs, I want to talk about this guy because he's absolutely incredible. I mean, no one can deny how good he is. Aaron Judge will win the AL MVP, and it's very simple. He's almost got 10 WAR. He has been hitting super well. He has over 50 home runs. So many RBIs, runs batted in. His OPS has been otherworldly. He has been incredible in counting stats. Yeah, I agree. Bobby Witt Jr. and Gunnar Henderson have been really good this year, but I don't think they have been to the level of Aaron Judge. If Aaron Judge didn't play in this conference, if he didn't play there, then one of those two would be. But Aaron Judge has been incredible. His impact on the Yankees and ability of winning, he is the reason why the Yankees are so relevant, and he is incredible in that way. And it's going to be interesting to see if this year things can change for him and the Yankees in terms of playoff woes. But let's see. Let's see if they can do it. Then, oh man, I forgot to mention NL Cy Young. Very sorry. For NL Cy Young, it's obvious. You got Chris Sale, one of the most incredible pitchers of his generation. He is incredible. I mean, everything he commands, his fastball, his slider, everything he does, he has been better than Suarez, Lopez, Glasnow, Zach Wheeler. His whip and ERA are fantastic. He's killing it in advanced metrics. And unlike any of the other pitchers that have been mentioned, like Glasnow, Suarez, Lopez, or any of the guys like Wheeler or Nola, unlike any of those other guys, I haven't seen any regression from Chris Sale at all this year. I haven't seen him waver once in how good he was. And because of that and how good he's been year after this year, repeatedly, how consistent he's been, he should win the Cy Young. And it's not that close in my opinion. I don't think there's anybody that comes close. Phillies fans will argue for Zach Wheeler all they want, whatever. It's not that big of a – I don't think that Wheeler has been nearly as good as Chris Sale this year. Then, for NL MVP, because I'm a spiteful Giants fan, I have Francisco Lindor. Now, everybody's going to be yelling and screaming, Carter, no, it should be Shohei Ohtani. He's got 50-50 club. Well, I'm a spiteful Giants fan, and honestly, this is my show. You guys came here. This is your fault. If you guys are mad at me for picking Francisco Lindor, too bad, really. But Francisco Lindor has been excellent this year. He started off a little slow, but ever since then, he's been otherworldly great. He's a great defender at the shortstop position, which is a more valuable position than most positions on the field other than pitching. He has shown command and leadership for the Mets, but that's not to say he hasn't done well in counting stats either. He's been great there. Listen, Shohei Ohtani is probably going to win the next 5 or 6 MVPs. He's incredible. He's great. He's had an historic season. So give this one to a Met, because the Mets have never won an MVP too. So just saying. Just saying. He's been really good this year. And I think Francisco Lindor, he's been incredible. I mean, he stole 25 bags, clubbed 27 home runs. Yeah, everyone can say, oh, Shohei's done it. Well, I think Shohei Ohtani is a really good player too. And they're probably going to say him instead, and give a DH the award for the first time ever. But honestly, whatever. It's whatever. I think Francisco Lindor has been really good this year. And honestly, since Shohei Ohtani is going to win the next 5 MVPs, 6 MVPs, it's probably just give it to him. Give it to Francisco Lindor, because he's been really good. And honestly, I think he deserves it after all the stuff that him and the Mets have been through. Why not? Just why not? I mean, I think I'm going to start winding this thing down in the next 5 minutes. If anybody has anything else to say or anything, I think I'm going to start winding it down. But yeah. Unless we have other news, which I can't say we do. Yeah. Other than the Giants play the San Francisco Giants play the Kansas City Royals tonight, and we're about to get a look at the future of baseball, and that's Bobby Witt Jr. So y'all have fun looking at that too if you're watching the Giants tonight. So yeah, do that. But honestly, y'all, it's been a slow day. And I got to pack. I'm going to college tomorrow. So thank you guys for watching. It's been good seeing you guys. I'm going to start getting out now, but well, that's it, isn't it? See y'all tomorrow.
You've been watching the Northern California Sports and Entertainment Network, a Northern Lights Entertainment broadcasting station.